The second grade standard, NBT 9, says explain why addition and subtraction strategies work using place value and properties of operations. Students should use concrete objects, pictures, and words to explain addition and subtraction strategies and why they work. Provide opportunities for students to examine other students' strategies and explain why they work. And be sure to include incorrect examples to give students the chance to explain mistakes. 2 NBT 9 encompasses all 8 standards of mathematical practice, but the ones that are most pronounced are 1, because students are making sense of arithmetic strategies, 3, because students are crafting arguments and evaluating the viability of others' reasonings, and 6, because students must use precise vocabulary and representations when explaining their strategies. Your goal as a teacher is to help students engage in talk that is both accountable and productive. Over time, you should aim for more and more student-to-student initiated talk. One way to help students do this is simply to use sentence frames with some of these sample student prompts. This will help students practice initiating talk moves on their own, like, I respectively disagree with Jack's idea because, or I would like to add to what Jill said. Teaching Channel offers a great resource to aid in increasing student participation, not only during number talks, but anytime students are explaining strategies. One very powerful instructional strategy that can be used with 2 MBT 9 in particular, but any discipline in general, is to have students work together to evaluate the quality of sample explanation. But you might be asking, how will my students know what makes a good explanation? And that is a great question. Consider using a kid-friendly rubric that clearly spells out the desirable qualities in good mathematical explanations, such as clarity, accurate math vocabulary, etc. Teachers should first ask their students what they think makes a good explanation before constructing a rubric together or providing students with a pre-made rubric. For this task, provide an addition or subtraction strategy and 4 examples of explanations. Be sure explanations include ones that need improvement, incorrect explanations, and explanations that you want your students to model. The most important aspect is listening to student discourse while students debate on strategies. End with a class discussion on the ranking of each strategy. Watch how this looks in a classroom. Today we're going to look at how to make our explanations better. You're going to look at the way this person solved the problem and look at your 4 explanations. You're going to use the rubric that we talked about to decide which one is just beginning, which one is almost there, which one has it, and which one went above and beyond by deciding if their explanation was clear, that showed their thinking, they used words well, and if they used math vocabulary.
Is the easiest. She added 27 plus 3 plus 10 plus 100. So I think that's mine, Gregory, Alex.
I feel like that should be six.
Mine is the hardest. But look at mine.
Yeah, well, that's last.
That's the easiest. Yeah.
That's last.
And then that's the easiest.
It's going like this.
Actually, yeah. Mine's still the hardest. Well, yeah, it also is. Mine's still second.
After hearing this group's discussion, I realized groups had a misconception about the assignment. I reminded the class that we weren't looking for the easiest to hardest written strategy, but the one that most clearly described the strategy used. One rubric your students may use involves determining if explanations were clear, showed their thinking, used words well, and used math vocabulary. By asking students what needs to be changed about an explanation based on the rubric, it shows that a formative assessment tool, like the rubric, can be used to generate actionable feedback that will improve explanations.
I think this person is almost there because she was almost clear, but it was still confusing.
What do you think she could do to change it from almost there to got it?
She could add the numbers. She counted up by, she counted up by 3, then 10, then 100.
She was clear and she used her vocabulary and she showed her thinking and used her as well.
Which one was next?
She was clear. She used numbers and drawing. She used complete sentences, and her vocabulary was right.
What about the next one?
I think she was almost there because she didn't use any numbers and she didn't have a whole lot on her sentence and she could have wrote more.
Okay. And which one was less?
She didn't use a lot of words and she just was just confusing.
Okay.
Building on the previous task, students applied what they learned about what makes a well-written explanation by explaining the compensation strategy a student posed during an earlier number talk. It is incredibly important for students to evaluate each other's strategies during number talks. This activity is a great ticket out the door and provides anecdotal evidence for parent conferences. Based on this rubric, I was able to formatively assess the index cards. This gave me a clear picture of which students were on target and which ones needed additional work in writing strategies. Some students just solved the addition problem a different way to prove the answer was correct. These students were still just beginning. Other students attempted to explain the strategy, but they need additional support to communicate the strategy clearly. For example, this student wrote, she took out a small to add it with another number. So they are almost there. A student at a mastery level can explain a strategy that is well thought out independently. For example, this student wrote she took 2 out of the 53 and she added it to the 28. So 28 plus 2 equals 30 and 51 plus 30 equals 81. I received one index card that I would consider above and beyond. This student wrote she decomposed 53 into 51 and 2. She added the 2 to 28 and got 30. Now she can easily add 51 plus 30 equals 81. A great digital tool for sharing and evaluating student explanations of addition and subtraction strategies is Padlet. Using a Padlet is a great way to incorporate technology into daily math lessons. It also provides an opportunity for formative assessment. Students will go to the Padlet URL and click Add Comment to add their explanation to a picture. You could also have an incorrect solution listed and have students add comments to an empty board about why it is correct or incorrect and why.